to another DorkLair action figure review. Today I'm taking a look at the deluxe female orc builder from the Mythic Legion's Tactics War of the Aetherblade wave. The female builder is the third out of 4 builder packs that I have reviewed on this channel. I will try to get to the male elf next. To me, this one feels like it may be the most loaded out of the 4 figures. It's got practically 2 full figures. It kind of makes me wonder why, you know, they couldn't just throw an extra pair of legs in there and give us 2 full figures, because it is that close. And I'll show you that when we get into all the extras, accessories, and whatnot. But here we have the female orc head sculpt with the helmet on there. There's a whole bunch of different head sculpts with this figure. And then we've got the, braided helmet decoration coming off the top here. A very detailed sculpture, and there's a little bit of a wash in there to bring out some of those textures in that hairpiece. And then we've got the head sculpt here with the tusks, and they've kind of utilized one of the human heads and painted it green to add just like another version of an orc. And then down in the torso, we have the sort of bra style upper torso, and then the bare lower torso and bare arms. We've got the sort of aggressive bracers. I love the metallics on these figures, so this definitely matches perfectly with the tones of the male orcs. And there's some two-tone parts going on, like some of the weapons have both of those colors mixed in. And then we've got the tabard style loincloth here in an orange. And like if they'd had an extra set of legs, you could have done the coppered legs and maybe do like fully armored. All you need is the hips and then the thighs and then the lower part all in like this color. And I think that would have been pretty sick. But still, I'm not complaining. I mean, the value in this box is crazy, but you're very close to 2 figures with this release. And then here's a zoomed out look as we get ready for some comparisons. Coming in at 6.5 inches to the top of the head, and then that plume on the back gives it even more height, almost 7 inches with that. Starting comparisons off with some 2.0 figures. On the left is a Kit Bash using Ravana in the Shadow Elf. On the right is the new female Elf Deluxe builder with the cloth skirt and belt added from Artemis Silvercord 2. Here she is next to the male counterparts. On the left is the Colosseum Orc, and on the right is her counterpart in the wave, the male Orc. And you can see that those colors are exact. Like these two, the armor colors and everything matches up perfectly. Bringing in a couple other lines, here's the Mezco 112 Collective Conan the Barbarian and the Boss Fight Studios Epic Hacks Gladiator Skeleton. And on the bigger side of things, we have the NECA Ultimate War Duke on the left, and on the right we have the Masterverse Skeletor from the exclusive San Diego 2-pack. For accessories, of course, on the figure right now, some of the accessories that came in the box are the plume and the shoulder pauldrons, so you'll see that there's 2 pairs of shoulder pauldrons. And then we do have a shield with the grip handle, and there's a couple different little paint applications on there. You've got the flatter paint on the wood and the shinier metallic paints on the banding, and then there's a little bit of detail here with some lighter coppery color in those rivets. For accessories, she comes with the flail with the spiked ball on the end. So that's a pretty gruesome weapon right there. Pretty sweet. She's loaded with weapons, so buckle up here. She comes with a bone-handled cleaver-type sword. She comes with another bone-handled sword. This is one of my favorites, this long curved blade right here. Comes with an axe. And she's got the Dwarven Mace, and you can see here some of the weapons are painted in the 2 tones of the armor to sort of match up there. Also in the 2 tones, she does have the massive hammer, and you can see some nice little painted details on some of those sculpted parts there. She does have the crossbow, so that's got the elastic string. The only thing is she doesn't come with the vertical hinged hand, so it can be kind of tricky posing her with this. Does have the arrow with it, and that's got a brown fletching, and then she's got a quiver of arrows as well. So pretty loaded on the weapon side of things. Okay, now I'm going to show you how close this thing is to a full other figure. All you would really need would be legs. So she's got she's got 2 extra belt pieces. But so you got the belt piece here, and then you have multiple extra heads. So you could put any of those heads on there. There's extra pauldrons. And so with the pauldrons on there and the other head sculpt, and then she even has an extra pair of armored feet. So you are just a pair of legs away from a full second figure. Like this all comes in this set. It's pretty wild. Now I'll show you the other head. So here's the fully armored knight head. I forget which knight it was. It might be like the Iron Knight. One of the Builder Knights had this head sculpt. And they kind of did a 1.0 version of this helmet or something very similar when they did the Father Christmas and it had those extra heads. It's also got the Juno, the Crusher head, repainted with some war paint, and so that can kind of match the Vorthog head that got repainted with war paint. I would put those together. I think it would look pretty cool. So that's a nice look right there. A lot of cool little details in this head. I don't have Juno, so this is my first time with this head sculpt. I like those braids and stuff. Really nice piece. And then I don't remember the original figure with this head sculpt, but this is definitely the Ragna head sculpt, the female dwarf, and then it's painted to look like an orc skin tone. So you could maybe call this a half-breed or something. And it's got those horns that you can pull out and you could swap with other helmet pieces. And then we got the other knight helmet, and this one's in that bronze color, and it's got a lot of little details and some gold accents. And then the only other thing I didn't show is it has a second loincloth, so a little more armored look, and then it also has a leather strap, this one in a lighter brown than typical. For articulation, there is a ball joint at the top of the head, so the figure can look down a little bit and up a little bit. Being a smaller ball joint than a 1.0 figure, I feel like the 2.0s have slightly less range in the head there. And you can move the plume and pose it in different angles as well. Shoulder armor pegs in and can move around a little bit there, so that's some articulation. The arm can come up about this far with the shoulder pauldron on and about this far when you take the armor off. So pretty good range up in that shoulder there. Single jointed elbow here. Mine was frozen. I had to really heat it up to get that moving. So watch out for that on yours. Otherwise, all the other joints were totally fine right out of the box. There's a twist at the gauntlet, twist at the elbow, twist at the wrist. Another little issue I have is this wrist is super loose. So I'm going to have to tighten that up with something. And then there's a horizontal hinge at that wrist. One of the best articulation points in these 2.0 figures is that ball joint at the top of the torso there. The back can get a little gappy, but for the most part, it's just got a lot of good range. So it can come way back, way forward, and it can go side to side. So a lot of good range there in the upper torso. The waist is just a twist. I do have a little bit of paint transfer there that got stuck from that skirt piece onto the leg, so a little bummer there. Not too bad though. It being an orc, I don't mind it being scuffed up, but the legs can kick forward, back, they can go out into the splits. If you want to see the joint there at the hip, and then there is a twist at the thigh. Nicely hidden, which is nice on bare legs because you don't really want to have a cut there. It also gives them the opportunity to give her a butt. So that's kind of like a nice little sculpted feature there. And then we have a single jointed knee, twist at the knee, twist at the ankle, hinge at the ankle, and then an ankle rocker. Pretty good articulation. I think the 2.0s generally have more range, except for in that head and then in the waist, but they do have that added articulation in the upper torso there. One of the nice things about this figure is that the second torso comes with arms already attached, so that's just like one less step you got to do when you're popping them apart. You just got to pull it apart at the waist here, and then you can pull everything off and then swap those legs on. So essentially, from the feet up is the one part that we don't have two of. This is the only thing that keeps us from having two full figures, is this amount of parts right here, which is wild. And then one quick swap for today, and that is the fully armored version. I've got the fully armored upper torso and arms added, and I put the feet on there, and I just wanted to try Juno's head to see how that would look. Then I have the armored loincloth, so there's a look at your fully armored female orc. So that's a pretty cool figure. I mean, again, this thing is loaded with parts, and you're a pair of legs away from two full figures. Thanks for watching my video, and until next time, may the force be with you.